Yeah, this that entrepreneurial conversation where ideas flip the hustle into elevation. No filters, no cap, just lessons in motion. Pull up, lock in, this entrepreneurial conversation. Yeah.
Grand rising to all my investors and stuff out there, man. Thank y'all for coming through and tuning in to another entrepreneurial conversation on this lovely Monday. For today, we're gonna have a great conversation. And today's conversation, we're gonna be talking about is the reality pill. But before we jump into the topic for today, I got a quick question, guys. Are you building a business based on reality or based on fantasy? Because you got to understand, we got many aspiring entrepreneurs that fall in love with the idea of success, but they avoid confronting the reality required to achieve it. So this episode going to challenge the listeners to take the reality pill and face the truth about where they are, what they need to improve, and what success actually demands. So before we jump into that, guys, you know what time it is, man. If you are watching this episode, if you haven't already, make sure you hit on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Invest Media channel, guys. Subscribe to the Invest Media channel. This is a hub for entrepreneurs and what have you. And also hit on that notification bell and hit all so you can be notified when anything new drop on this channel. And also don't forget to invest in hitting that like button, because it's free, guys. It's free. It costs you $0 to invest in hitting that like button. And once again, guys, if you haven't caught the previous episode when I was making an announcement far as the structure of new format that I'm working on, so these shows may be changing, like Entrepreneurial Conversation may be changing to a new day, and also the Sidebar Convo radio show, because I'm trying to be more consistent at giving you content and giving you things on the community post and what have you, so y'all can converse with and conversate and what have you. So I'm trying to, move this channel to another level and what have you, and be consistent at doing that, and just not give y'all two videos a week and what have you, and don't be active throughout the week until it's time to promote these shows and what have you. So I'm gonna try to be more active, so when y'all come here, y'all will have something to look at, something to be educated with and what have you. So I'm trying to do my due diligence in making sure I uphold myself to a standard, and making sure I'm being consistent at doing what it needs to be done to make sure this channel continue to grow, continue to move forward and what have you, guys. So other than that, man, let's go ahead and jump into the topic at hand that we're going to have today. We're going to be talking about is the reality pill. So if you listen to the Sidebar Convo of this past Friday, when I did a brief breakdown of this episode, you will know what this is going to be about, and you will already have answered the question. And by that time, it gave you a couple days in between to be able to take your reality pill if you answer the questions, and if any of those questions was you and what have you. So you will be able to now understand where you are as an entrepreneur, right? So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about is the reality pill, because you got to understand the reality pill is something that is hard for many of entrepreneurs, especially you in the early stages, to digest. If you're in the early stages, or you have been entrepreneur for a couple months now to a year, and you're not where you want to be, you're not really seeing any progress and what have you, it may be time for you to take the reality pill. And sometimes, we don't want to take it because we have to face the truth, and a lot of time we're not ready to face the truth of what is going on within our business, right? Especially if you felt like you had a great idea. Not saying because you don't have any motion right now and things is not really going your way, you're not seeing any results, doesn't mean you have a bad idea. All that means is you might need to change some things around, add some stuff, take it away. You might have to approach the situation in a different way, right? So the first thing is the reality pill isn't negative. Like I just said, the reality pill isn't negative at all. It's necessary, right? It's necessary because the reality is not your enemy, right? It's your roadmap. It's your roadmap to getting to where you want to be at as an entrepreneur, and you have to work within the reality of your situation where you at right now. Because if you understand, if you are willing to face the reality that will help you make the proper changes that you need to make, you will be able to not only answer the questions that you have for yourself or what's going on, it will better help you structure your business, structure yourself, put structure around your idea, right? So you will have a better chance at being successful at what you want to do as an entrepreneur, right? And the other thing is you can't improve what you refuse to acknowledge. And that's very important. You cannot improve because if you refuse to acknowledge the problem of what's going on within your business, it's going to be hard for you to make the proper changes, right? You can't improve something if you don't realize is something there, a problem is there, right? And the other thing is entrepreneurs who face reality early grow faster than those living in wishful thinking. Let me say it again. Entrepreneurs who face reality early grow faster than those living in wishful thinking. So you want to, the early you can accept the reality of where you are, what you haven't done and what have you, right? It be the faster you will grow, because as you learn and understand and grow as an entrepreneur, your business going to grow. Everything is works hand in hand. As you grow, your business grow. Works hand in hand, right? And the other thing is the truth may hurt temporarily. Let me say it again. The truth may hurt temporarily, but denial hurts permanently, right? Because if you stay in denial, right, you're not going to be an entrepreneur for a long time. You're not going to have that longevity that you're looking for in the field of entrepreneurship. You're not going to have success because if you are remaining in denial, it's going to be hard for you to be successful, right? It's going to be hard for you to grow as an entrepreneur. So the hurt is only temporarily, because as you make the changes and you see the results and you see your business growing, the hurt is slowly you're going to chip away at the hurt that you have, right? And the thing is, reality doesn't care about your feelings. Let me say it again. Reality doesn't care about your feelings, but it can become your greatest teacher. You can learn from your reality, just like the experience that you gain along the way of being an entrepreneur. It's all a learning curve. It's all a learning thing that you will take in, understand what you're learning, and apply that to your entrepreneur journey, whatever you're doing as an entrepreneur, right? And the next thing is stop confusing potential with progress, right? Because you got to understand, potential is one thing, progress is another, right? You can potentially fail, you can potentially succeed, but progress is trending up, right? You're making progress at your situation, you're making progress as an entrepreneur. Potential, you cannot scale potential. Progress, you can continue to go up further and further as you continue to do the right things, right? So the thing is, having talent doesn't mean you're winning. We all may be talented at something, but if you don't apply that talent that you do have, you're not going to be winning in your situation as an entrepreneur. You're not going to succeed as an entrepreneur, right? So because you are talented at something, you may know something, doesn't mean you winning, right? The person that's actually applying their talent to what they need to apply it to, far as being an entrepreneur, your business, your ideas, what have you, that's going to be the person that's going to succeed. That's going to be a person that's going to be in a winning situation, right? So having an idea doesn't mean you're building, right? You may have 10 ideas. That doesn't mean you building, because they just ideas. Ideas without structure, ideas without execution is just ideas, right? And potentially those are going to be dead ideas, because the further you go along, your ideas go along without actually building on the building around the idea that you created. It's going to be eventually somebody else's idea, and they going to actually take it and run with it and what have you. So don't get in the mindset like you're really building something because you're creating ideas, because you're giving yourself a false sense of reality and false sense of reality of what building is as an entrepreneur, right? Potential is only valuable when it's converted into action. Let me say it again. Potential is only valuable when it's converted into action. So you have to convert it into action. Action leads to what? execution. When you are consistent and you continue to stay disciplined to what you trying to accomplish, your goals and what have you, you going to see that's going to equal out to executing on your plans and what have you. So it's all about action. Like I said, potential is one thing. You want to be able to convert that potential that you do have as being a successful entrepreneur, potential to become a successful entrepreneur. You got to convert that into an action, because that's the only way you're going to begin building on your idea and what have you, right? So many entrepreneurs are addicted to talking about what they could do. Let me say it again. Many entrepreneurs are addicted to talking about what they could do. So don't be a talker, be a doer. Don't talk about what you could do, because at the end of the day, it's all about execution. Eventually people are going to get tired of the same old story, what you could do as an entrepreneur, right? We done heard that from somebody who want to be on what they can do. I could do this, I can do that. But it's all about the people who takes action. Doers are doers, right? Talkers are talkers and doers are doers. Doers going to get out here and get it done. You just talking. Don't talk about what you could do. Go and make it happen, right? Go and make the idea, build on the idea, bring the idea into fruition. Just don't talk about it, right? Don't talk about it. Go and make it happen. Like what the Nike slogan is, just do it. That's the point of it all. Get into action and continue to thrive as an entrepreneur, right? So are you celebrating your vision more than your actual execution? Let me say it again. Are you celebrating your vision more than your actual execution? Because your vision is one thing, but vision without action, vision without execution, might as well say, is just a vision, right? We all have vision. We all vision ourselves at a better point in our life. We all vision ourselves at this level, right? We all vision ourselves in a way of being successful, right? But if you don't execute on the vision that you have, it's just a vision, right? It's not really reality, right? It's just a vision. So the next thing is your current results are telling you something, right? Let me say it again. Your current results are telling you something, right? So it's just like when people tell you to always listen to your body, because your body gonna always talk to you. If you sick, if you hurting, you have pain in a certain area and what have you, your body talk to you. Your results talk to you, right? And meaning by that is, if you have what product already that you are on your site, if you have low sales, right? So something is talking to you. Why do you have low sales? See, when you're in denial about your sales, you're not going to be able to change it. But if you're not in denial and you are in reality of, yes, I have low sales, now you got to ask yourself, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? Is my product too high? Is my product not marketing? Am I marketing my product to the right people? The product or my services that I do have, do people really need it? Is it beneficial to anybody? Is it solving a problem that to anybody, right? And a lot of times it could be either or, right? It could be something along the line of that, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you are in reality of why your sales are low, so you can be able to change what's going on, right? Next thing is no engagement. You don't have no engagement, nothing's going on. Your content, no one's engaging with your content that you putting out, what have you. So are you putting out the proper content? Is your content geared towards your right target market that you need to be targeting your product or your services to, right? So you want to ask yourself, have I set up the right avatar of people I need to be marketing towards? Because if you get into the field of entrepreneur and you're trying to market to everybody, you're going to end up getting nobody. So it's important for you to market to the right set of people. Put your product and service in front of the right eyes. So is your content is something that you have it pinpointed to the right sector of people, the right crowd and what have you, right? No customers. What's going on? Why don't you have any customers? Why you don't necessarily when you say no, because why don't you have any, not just no customers coming and buying stuff, why don't you have any returning customers, right? Why, if you have a couple people come buy from you but they never return to buy anything else from you? So you have to ask yourself, what's is my customer service, do I have good customer service, right? um the product that I'm selling, is it something that people feel like is of quality and what have you? What is it? So you want to ask yourself these questions, because like I said, your results talk to you. If you are in denial about your results, then you're never going to be able to answer them questions and make the changes that you need to make. Next thing is lack of consistency. Am I being consistent enough? If am I showing up when people are expecting me to be there, not far as physically be there at a location, but online? You got some people, may not have better product than you, better service than, but the difference between you and them, they show up every day and they consistent, right? So are you consistent? Are you consistently putting in the work? Are you consistently waking up? Are you being consistent even though you don't feel motivated? If you are feeling unmotivated to get up to do anything, are you still being consistent, right? Are you still doing something, right? So instead of making excuses, ask, what is this result trying to teach me? Because this is the right question you need to ask yourself. What is this result trying to teach me? What is it trying to teach me? So if you are in denial about answering that question, then you're not going to be able to answer in a proper way that's going to help you see that you need to make the changes to be able to grow, to be able to see sales, to be able to see engagement, to be able to gain customers, especially recurring customers, to be able to begin to be consistent and what have you, right? So reality leaves clues, guys. Reality leaves clues. The next thing is the social media illusion, right? So social media is nothing but delusion of grandeur, right? So you got you go if you go back and look at my early episode, when I created an episode called cosplaying entrepreneurs cosplaying as social, basically content creators. Is about content creators cosplaying as entrepreneurs. So you have a lot of that going on in the social media world, right? Where people are cosplaying as entrepreneurs, but they really content creators. So now you got a false sense of what entrepreneurship is. They selling you a lifestyle rather selling you the reality of being an entrepreneur, right? So the social media illusion, right? Most people compare their beginning to someone else highlight reel, and that's not what you want to do. You don't want to compare yourself to a highlight reel, because a highlight reel is only what it could be a second to could be a minute to 3 minutes and what have you, right? So you don't want to get caught up in the highlight reel, because it's not showing you what goes on behind the curtain of being an entrepreneur. They just showing you things that's not real reality of what entrepreneurship is and what you're going to get yourself into being an entrepreneur, right? So don't compare yourself to somebody, or else don't compare yourself to somebody who's actually say that's legit, that's built businesses, that is successful as an entrepreneur, right? Don't fall into comparing yourself to that person. It's nothing wrong with using them as a measuring stick, but don't compare yourself to them, because they already been there. They already been an entrepreneur for years. So you can't compare yourself to that. You can use it as a measuring stick to where you want to be at, hopefully one day, right? So entrepreneurs often believe everyone is succeeding except them. And like I said, most of the time when you see that on social media, is delusion of grandeur. They selling you a lifestyle, right? They don't tell you things like the debt you gonna go into being an entrepreneur, the slow months, right? Money loss, things that's gonna hurt you, the things you just put like this, things you have to go through as an entrepreneur. See, they don't tell you any of that at all being an entrepreneur. So you got to understand, man, it's a lot of times that people sell you on losing the grandeur. So, like I said, they don't tell you about the debt. They don't tell you about the mistakes that they went through as an entrepreneur, right? They don't tell you about the failed launches. You know, they had many ideas and they launched but failed, right? And they don't tell you about the sleepless nights. So don't fall for the delusion of grandeur when it comes to these social media content creators cosplaying as an entrepreneur, right? So success online is often edited. It's easy to edit it, a reel, a video, to make it look like you are successful. You got people that go out here, rent Airbnbs, rent luxury cars, right? Just do things to make it seem like they actually are successful, and when they not really successful at all, right? Revenue screenshots don't show the debt, the stress, the mistakes, or the failures. So don't fall for screenshots, right? It's easy for anybody to clip up a screenshot of something, right? But they can't. That doesn't show you the debt, the stress, the mistakes, or the failures that you may go through as an entrepreneur, right? So don't compare your reality to someone else marketing. Let me say it again. Don't compare your reality to someone else marketing, because people going to market you a great story, a great picture of being an entrepreneur, but that's not the reality of their situation. So don't compare yourself to something that's a delusion of grandeur and what have you, right? The next thing is the reality of entrepreneurship nobody talks about, right? See, people don't talk about this, right? They don't talk about the long periods without validation, right? Because if you are a person that seeks validation through others, then that's not going to help you as an entrepreneur. So you're going to have long periods without validation. No one's going to validate anything that you that they don't see, that you haven't built and what have you. So it's going to be long periods without that, right? So learning skills you never expected, right? So people don't talk about this. You're going to be learning skills you never expected. And like I said, the more skills you learn and pick up as an entrepreneur, your business is going to grow, because it goes hand in hand. As you grow, your business grow, right? So it works as a team, right? So the next thing is sacrificing comfort, right? So you're going to make sacrifices, right? It's a lot of times you might sacrifice family events, sacrifice being with friends, sacrifice going on vacation, sacrifice. It's a lot of things you're going to sacrifice, especially at the early stages of being an entrepreneur trying to build a business. You're going to sacrifice comfort. We all want to feel comfort, right? But as an entrepreneur, especially at the early stage, it's not a such thing as comfort. I'm not saying you have to stay up all night, every night, and burn yourself out. You want to avoid a burnout as possible, but it's going to be things you're going to sacrifice, far as you have to, put your money back into your business, right? Invest in different things, right? Invest in your skills, invest in your knowledge. So it's a lot of things you may have to sacrifice in order for you to accomplish a goal of yours, right? It's all about executing. Feeling misunderstood, because if people don't see your vision like you see it, they're not going to understand where you coming from, right? So feeling misunderstood. I know people want to feel understood, but a lot of times you may gonna feel understood because people are not. See, when you're an entrepreneur, you have a different type of mindset than the average person that's not an entrepreneur, right? Not saying you better than them, but you have to tap into that entrepreneur mindset. So if you have a person who isn't an entrepreneur and they don't have that type of mindset, right? They definitely not going to understand where you are coming from, especially in a business standpoint or an entrepreneur standpoint and what have you, right? And making mistakes publicly, right? Yes, as an entrepreneur, you're going to make mistakes publicly, right? So you got to be able to handle the critique, handle what people may have to say, right? That's something that comes with the territory as being an entrepreneur, right? You're going to make mistakes publicly, but it's all about how you pivot and how you move, make the corrections that you need and move forward from it, right? So success often looks boring before it looks impressive. Let me say it again. Success often looks boring before it looks impressive, right? So the next thing is, are you really ready for what you say you want? Are you ready? Are you really ready? Because a lot of times we want the opportunity, we want to have this, but are you ready for it? If you wake up one day and the universe give you that opportunity that you've been asking for, are you truly ready for it? Do you have things, a system put in place? Do you have a structured system that's put in place to make sure you succeed? Do you have your skill sets together to be able to do whatever you ask for, right? So you got to understand that. Are you ready for it? So everyone wants success, but everybody's not ready for the success that may come their way, right? Few want the responsibility that comes with it, right? People don't want to, because understand one thing, right? As an entrepreneur, you going to be accountable for everything. You have to take the accountability, right? Because it's your business, right? You are the boss of your business, right? Especially if you have a team, you have to take the accountability of your team failures. You have to take the accountability of why your team ain't execute, right? You got to take the responsibility, the accountability to why your business is not making progress, right? So it's all about accountability. So you got to be responsible for that, right? So a lot of people are not they want to be an entrepreneur, but they don't want to take on what comes with it, right? That's why you have a lot of people, right? It's easy. See, it's easy for you to go and work a job because you're not responsible. Only thing you're responsible of is your work, the task that you have been given each and every day. But you're not responsible for people's paycheck. You're not responsible to making sure day to day operation is running right. You're not responsible for things that management get paid for, right? So it's easy for you to clock in, do your job, and go home because you're not responsible for anybody but yourself, right? The bigger the opportunity requires, the bigger discipline. Are you ready for a big opportunity? Because a big opportunity going to require big discipline. You have to be disciplined. Are you disciplined enough to be able to stay on task? Are you disciplined enough to be consistent, right? So that's very, very important. The bigger goals, next thing is the bigger goals require bigger sacrifices. So are you willing to give up the things that you like doing in order for you to achieve your goals? So these are the things that you need to ask yourself, truly ask yourself, and get an understanding and be real with yourself. Don't be, because if you try to answer these questions, right, in denial, you're not going to get a truly response that's going to help you make the changes that you need to make, right? So if success arrived tomorrow, would I actually be prepared to manage it? See, the hard part don't start until you execute and your business is up and running, and it's say for instance you achieved on growing your business. Now your business is out there, now everybody know your business. The hard part starts to be able to obtain that status, to keep your business and continue to have it grow, right? That's the hard part, is managing. Now can you manage this? Now you successful, you got your business where you are at. Can you manage it? Can you manage this? Right. And a lot of times people think, okay, I'm done. I built my business. That was the hard part. I don't have to do nothing else. No, the real work starts when you succeed. Now you got to be able to obtain that success that you have able to acquire and what have you. Right. So it's very important to understand it. Right. So the next thing is the reality audit. Right. So the reality audit. Right. So vision. Do I know exactly where I'm going? So as you vision your idea and what have you as an entrepreneur, do you know exactly where you're going, right? It's important for you to have a direction to take your idea. If you don't have a direction to take your idea, then you're going to be lost. So the vision, do you have a direction for your vision, right? Execution. Am I taking daily action? See, only way you're going to execute is if you are doing something daily, every day, if it's small or big, if you spending 5 minutes, 10 minutes to an hour or two on your business. Are you doing something that's going to contribute to executing on whatever goal that you set, whatever plan that you have, right? And discipline. Do I do what needs to be done when motivation disappear? Because like I said in another episode that I did, right? Motivation is not the end all be all. Motivation, you a lot of time people are misled by motivation. They think they see successful entrepreneurs, they made it off motivation. That's a lie, because motivation comes and goes depending on how you feel when you wake up on that day or as you go throughout the day. It all depends on how you feel. You may feel motivated 1 hour, the next hour you don't, right? 1 minute you may feel motivated, the next minute you don't. So when you don't feel motivated, right? The days that you don't and the days that you wake up don't feel motivated, right? Do you have the discipline to continue to put in the work that you need to make sure that you are doing something to make sure that you're going to execute on what it needs to be done for your business and what have you, right? Skills. What skills am I avoiding learning? So what are you avoid learning? Because as an entrepreneur, you shouldn't be avoid learning anything, because like I said, the more you learn, and you not just learning, not just being informationless, just getting the information and obtaining, but you actually getting information and you putting it into use and you applying it to your skill set, right? Or you don't avoid learning anything, because like I said, it goes hand in hand. More you learn, more you become better as an entrepreneur, your business grow. More you grow as an entrepreneur, your business grow, because whatever you learn and process and take in, you're going to put into your business, right? So it goes hand in hand. So environment, is my environment helping me grow or keeping me stuck? And I did another episode about that. See, that's why it's important for you to subscribe to this channel, because I done, like I said, this past episode, right? This the past Friday episode, sidebar conversation. Like I said, these episodes tie into one another, right? So you may hear some things on this episode that you may heard on the other 2 or 3 episodes, but I say it, I don't go in depth like I do in this one, right? Because everything's tied into each other. Everything works hand to hand. So these episodes that I do is like they tied into one episode, but I'm breaking them down and giving you an understanding on how things work. So I done an episode talking about environment. I done an episode talking about what episode about executing, right? So I done episodes based on things, examples, and stuff that I use within this episode. So that's why it's good to go back and listen to those episodes so you can get an understanding. So environment, is my environment helping me grow or keeping me stuck? And it's very important, because you want an environment, right, that's going to be conducive to you growing as an entrepreneur, be conducive to you to be able to help you grow your idea, be consistent, be disciplined, right? So if you're trying to work out of that same environment before you transfer over to your entrepreneur mindset, then you're not going to be able to grow as an entrepreneur. So anything that's within your environment that's keeping you stuck, like a toxic situation, negative energy, people around you who doesn't bring anything to the table and what have you. So you want to make sure you change up your environment that's going to be conducive to you learning and what have you, right? The next thing is, reality doesn't mean giving up, right? Reality doesn't mean giving up, right? So facing reality is not admitting defeat. Facing reality is just now you come into terms of what you need to do. This is the best way to be able to build that roadmap to help you succeed as an entrepreneur, right? Next thing is identifying where the work needs to happen. So if you don't face the reality, you're not going to know where you need to do in what part of your business or your idea that you need to change, that you may need to add, right? Or you need to upgrade it and what have you, whatever you need to do to that certain area. When you facing the reality of what is not working, you need to make those proper changes, right? So next thing is every entrepreneur, every successful entrepreneur had to confront uncomfortable truths, right? So you had to become uncomfortable if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur. You gotta face that truth. That's why a lot of times you have people don't like to be in a room by themselves or in the house by themselves, because once everything become quiet, those truths start to arise. Now you start to think about it. That's why you see some people like to keep people around to block them from their truth of reality, right? The other thing is growth begins where excuses end. Let me say it again. Growth begins where excuses end. So it's all about growing. Excuses going to keep you stuck. Growth is going to it's going to build you as an entrepreneur, right? It's going to grow. As you grow, your business going to grow, right? So the moment you face reality is the moment you gain the power to change it. So that's very important, guys. The next thing is turn reality into a competitive advantage, right? Let me say it again. Turn reality into a competitive advantage, meaning most people avoid what? Accountability, right? Um, and that's something you don't want to avoid, is accountability. The moment you take accountability of where you are as an entrepreneur and why things is not working, you're going to be able to you're going to be able to move forward and make the proper changes that you need to make, right? Next thing is most people avoid criticism. Don't feel like criticism is a bad thing, especially constructive criticism, right? Is not coming from a bad place, especially just from somebody who supports you, somebody that want to see you win, somebody want to be successful. This is criticism that you can use, right, to better your idea, better your situation as an entrepreneur, right? So don't look at it as being hate, but it's constructive criticism that's going to help you become better as an entrepreneur, right? The next thing is most people avoid self-reflection. You have to look yourself in the mirror. What was that Michael Jackson song? I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Oh yeah, I'm asking to change his ways. So you have to look yourself in the mirror. If this is you, right, and you haven't took your reality pill yet, and your business is not going the way you want it to go, you're not seeing the results, you feel stuck and what have you, this is the perfect time for you to be that man and look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, do I need to change my ways in order for me to be able to make the changes as an entrepreneur? So it's very important to understand that, guys, because entrepreneurs who embrace reality gain an advantage because they can make the adjustments faster than everyone else. So it's very important to understand that you want to be able to make the proper adjustments that you need to so you become that successful entrepreneur that you have vision, right? So before we get out of here, guys, I got one last thing. Is the reality pill isn't meant to discourage you, guys. It's meant to wake you up, right? Stop running from the truth about where you are. Face it, right? Face it. Learn from it. Build from it, right? Because your future success begins the moment you become honest with yourself. So that's very important to understand that, guys. But thank you. Thank y'all, man, once again for coming through, man, and having this great entrepreneur conversation with me. Listen to a great entrepreneur conversation with me. Thank y'all. So once again, man, make sure y'all taking advantage and jumping down in that comment section. Leave a comment, leave a question. Leave anything down there that may help somebody, right? Or if I miss anything, you can add in the comment section, and so we all can learn from it and what have you, right? Or if you have a short little story, anything, because the comment section is a community where, you know, we can converse with each other and what have you. So that's what's very important, guys. Thank y'all once again for coming through on another great great Monday morning, man. The week where we start our hustle, we start our grind, we start building, we be consistent, disciplined to the vision that we have created for ourselves as an entrepreneur. But once again, guys, thank y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit all, and make sure y'all guys, it's free to hit on that like button. Yup.